Hi, and welcome to Week of Interactive Animation for the Web. This week we're looking at symbols in Flash Animate. A symbol is a reusable object in Flash Animate, a foundational element as well as a component which keeps the file size down because you can reuse it. Right here you see these pots. You see 8 of them. There's really only one, and it's been reused throughout the project here. This project is a really old project. It was done, I would guess it's probably done maybe around 2006. It's very primitive, very raw, but it's well organized and it works good as an example here. As mentioned earlier, the 3 most important symbols are graphic, and a graphic is basically a static image. It could be a JPEG, GIF, bitmap. Then after a graphic there is a button, and a button is basically a button you click to have some type of an interactivity perform. Another graphic that's really important would be a movie clip. And what a movie clip is, it's like a movie, it's like a timeline within a timeline. So you have some type of an interaction moving within the timeline. Right here you see when I click on this is a button. When I click on it, this happens. Now, the problem with this is it doesn't stop. So what a simple animation does here is turns into basically torture, I suppose. Although you can move on to the next number. But you could have this after one loop stop just by typing in the action script stop, and it would stop after one loop. You would type in stop on the very last frame of the animation. So here's 2, and again this will just keep looping. I think the person who made this was hoping that the person would go through this sequence kind of fast. So now I'm going to look at the actual Flash file, which is right here. Here's the timeline. You see these layers all represent some type of a interaction at these points, which are called keyframes. Because you're not seeing any movement, the reason you're not seeing any movement is because, like as I was saying earlier, in the timeline there's a movie within a movie, so you go to another timeline, which I'm going to show right here by coming over here to the library, which is another really important component of Adobe Flash, the library. And if you don't see it, you can just go up to Window and come down to Library. One good thing about this project is it's well organized. They made folders. Right down here you can make a folder. So everything is not in disarray. So I'm going to look at the movie clips. So I'm going to double click on what's called Sprite. It's actually movie clip. You can see by the icon here that it's a movie clip. And you can see from the icon here with a hand on top of what looks like a button, that's a button. And you can see from the icons here that these are graphics. So again, I'm going to go and look at a movie. So I double click on that. Now here's the timeline within the timeline. And you can see it's nested. See here, the very initial page is called page 1. And you see here that inside of page 1 is Sprite 25. There could be something inside of Sprite 25. And then there'd be another timeline. So if I look here and I scrub, I see what the animation is. So this right here, as I was saying earlier, was if a layer had put in for the action script and you just put stop in the very last frame, it would not keep looping. So that's an example of a movie within a movie. Now when you go to a button image, like up here, which is the pot, you're going to see you have 4 frames. So you have 1 frame is for the mouse over, 1 frame is for down, 1 frame is normal, and the 4th frame you put a rectangle or a circle in for the area you want to be interactive, that you want your cursor to turn into a hand. So if I put right in here, I used a rectangle and just pulled a square right here. That means that whole area is going to be interactive. So one thing I have to be careful about is that this interactive area is not, you know from looking at the original page that the parts were kind of close together. So if I was going to pull a interactive area, I would pull it about that big. Otherwise, I would create problems by having the interactive areas overlapping. And when you use a rectangle, it can be any color, but when you come out of this timeline here, the 4th frame will not be visible. You'll have the mouse over, you'll have the down, and you'll have the normal, but you won't be able to see where the interactive area is because it's invisible. So if you pull a rectangle or a circle, don't worry about it showing up when you get to the actual page, which from here I'd be going back to page 1. So another thing about the library is very important. There's a lot of information actually in the library. If I click up here, I get this other window open up, which is the library, and I can open it up, and it's giving me all the information I want. Shapes have been created using the drawing tools in Adobe Flash Animate. Thanks. Bye.